After fighting for their lives in Salorishi Marsh, our heroes, together with the Delrish Spellbreakers, are able to turn the tide of battle and drive their Vishnahari enemies from the battlefield. Sent back to Fort Lakefront for some much-needed rest by Brigadier Offrin Tangrel of the Spellbreakers, our team of reluctant soldiers try to let their lives return to normal after their harrowing experience in the trenches. However, no sooner have they arrived than rumors of an abrupt and seemingly random end to the war begin to circulate. As the trees of Salorishi Marsh begin to burn with strange ghost lights, our heroes find their R&R cut short as they are summoned before the commander of the fort to give a report on their activities behind enemy lines. Shuffled into the office of General Barnabas Fletcher, they find their commander none too pleased with their recent excursion. Blaming them for the significant loss of life in the battle, as well as damaging peace talks that they didn't even know were underway, the general informs the unfortunate soldiers that they will be up for court-martialing and a trial by military tribunal to determine their guilt in the conflict of the marsh. Bound by Teltrian guards, they are led away to the brig to await their trial, their situation seeming grim. Hello and welcome back to A Little Light Adventuring. Welcome back to our 4th episode, which I can't believe we've already done 4 of these already, but we are moving along with our story. We've already come a pretty long way, and we are here tonight to find out the fate of our heroes and this court-martialing that they've been brought up for. Once again, we are excited for you to join us and excited for you to be back with us. We hope you're enjoying these stories so far. I'm your Dungeon Master Daniel, and once again I'm joined by my friends Mark, Tyler, and Travis. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
All right, so how's everybody enjoying the campaign so far? We've got some zombies, we've got some glowing trees, we've got a possibly mad halfling running around, and last episode we ended off with a little military drama. What are you guys thinking?
I think it's a definitely mad halfling.
Yeah, he's pretty well crazy.
Slightly mad halfling, but he's a barbarian, you know. That's kind of their normal state, I think.
That's fair. I suppose we'll allow it.
Yeah. So who's feeling confident about this trial that we've got going up? Who thinks that we're going to get a fair shake in this trial?
I don't think anything's going to turn out fair for us.
I don't think so either. Nothing's been fair so far.
Maybe not. Yeah, y'all have kind of been put through the ringer, I think, the last couple of sessions. Had a pretty rough go of it.
We should be up for commendation.
You should.
We are in the brig.
In fact, old Offrin Tangrel, the Spellbreakers, he kind of hinted at that, but apparently that was not the way that it went. Not the way at all. Well, I know I, for one, am ready to dive back in. For those of you who are watching us, if you like catching our episodes, we encourage you to click that thumbs up, drop a comment so that we know how we're doing, and roll a critical hit on that subscribe button so that you can be the first to know when we've got some new videos out. Of course, you can find us on Discord as well. We've got that link in the description below, so feel free to join us. We would love to hear from you and love to connect with you. So check out all of those social medias and try and get in touch with us. With all that said, I guess we can grab our favorite Delrish beverage of choice, our favorite Teltrian snacks, and get ready to journey once more into the land of Chalnora. Alright, so the news hits you right in the gut. After risking your lives being sent behind enemy lines, blowing up the spell cannons that had been hammering the fort, and then surviving that harrowing battle in the marsh against Vishnahari soldiers and those powerful zombie flesh reavers, You return to Fort Lakefront not only to find that your efforts over the last couple of years have meant nothing, but you're facing a court-martialing as a reward for all your years of service on the battlefield. Delphinium, you are informed that you will be returned to your people in disgrace. A fine thank you for all the lives you have saved with your healing. As you're shoved ungraciously into these individual cells, you don't really get a chance to see what's happening to the rest of your comrades. The cells aren't exactly cramped, but because they've got a cot and a simple chamber pot as your only amenities, you can't really call them comfortable either. So, not exactly the most pleasant place to be stuck for a while. But in any case, the last of the guards, they lock you away, exit the confinement area, leaving you with your solitude and wondering what to do next. So what do you guys do as y'all are kind of taking this all in, taking in your change of circumstances, and sitting here in these kind of individual cells? Can't really see each other.
I assume they took away all my toys.
They did. They stripped you of all of your equipment and bound you up and put you away in a jail cell.
Did they take my bowler? I mean,
No, they let you keep the bowler. They gave you a pretty thorough search, but they let you
good. I
keep
need to
the.
be stylish.
You know, they
I need to
didn't
be
want
stylish
they
while
didn't
I'm
want to
prison.
do that disgrace to you. They
Yeah.
knew that you loved it so much.
There's nothing wrong with being stylish while you're in a jail cell.
That's right, and stylish when you're up for a court martial. You know, that is the most important thing.
You gotta look your best.
Can we hear each other? Like, are we in close enough vicinity to...
Well, you can try talking to each other. What would you like to say?
Benedict? Zephno? Are you down here?
And yeah, you guys can hear Delphinium talking to you. Doesn't sound too far
Delphinium.
away. Maybe the cells are about 10 feet wide, and they've got a pretty thick wall in between, but it seems like they're at least stacked pretty close together.
Delphi, is that you?
Yeah?
Mm.
Are you alright?
Oh, I'm fine. Been here, done this. How are you doing?
Oh,
First time in this cell, I'm sure.
yeah. There are lots of firsts for me in the last 24 hours. This has gone belly up.
Stick with the Tiltrians long enough, and I'm afraid that this won't be very an isolated occurrence.
Ah, and there's old Benedict.
At least he got my name right this time.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody have
I
any
remembered it,
idea-
Benny.
Anybody have an idea on how to get us out of here?
Well, I seem to be missing all my tools. I do have
Don't you
tools
have
for
any
this kind of
tricks,
thing.
Benedict?
I'm afraid they've taken them all. The trick I have at the moment is to wait, which unfortunately I'm sure someone will be along for us. Won't be very enjoyable, but
So as you are just sitting there having this conversation, trying to figure out what to do next, everybody roll a perception check for me.
Crystal blue perception.
That would be a 6.
I got 12.
All right, there you go.
Very perceptive bunch.
Yeah, not too perceptive, but Zephno, as you're sitting there figuring out what to do next, you do hear something like hammering coming from a little further down the hall. It sounds like someone is banging away at something.
You guys hear that?
And as he kind of brings your attention to it, y'all become aware of it as well, that there's this hammering down somewhere a little bit further.
Yeah, I hear it now.
where's that coming from?
Can anyone see it?
You cannot.
can't see
Yeah,
anything.
y'all can't really see anything.
Do I have any idea what that might be?
Not at the moment. You could try and roll a investigation check. See if you can determine the source.
Do you
And
think
that
we're under attack again?
is a 7,
Probably.
8, an 8.
Okay, yeah, you can't really tell anything. It doesn't sound like you're under attack. It doesn't sound like cannon fire. It doesn't sound like any type of spells that you know of. It's very rhythmic. Very rhythmic, like someone's just banging away.
Hello! Can I just yell?
Yeah, you can yell down there. So as you yell down there, the banging stops all of a sudden. And you hear from down the hall a familiar voice. Oh, hey! You guys sound familiar. You wouldn't have happened to have fought
Hello.
recently with a tiefling, an incredibly awesome and epically handsome halfling war hero, would you?
Doesn't sound familiar now.
Namor!
Yeah, there
Hey,
he is. Zevno, right? Zevno.
No!
Yeah, hey, you
Ah,
guys.
you remembered me.
Yeah, it's good to see you again. Or I guess hear from you again.
Neymar, can you get us out of here?
Well, you know about that. Really, it's kind of strange. I can't really imagine how rude these people were when I got here. One minute I was walking around, I was minding my own business, breaking a few training dummies out in the courtyard. The next thing I know, these guys show up and they say that I'm under arrest for impersonating a soldier. Would I do that? That's totally out of character for me.
Wait, you're in a cell too?
Yeah, of course, I'm in a cell too. They locked me up, said I was gonna have to stand trial or something. I don't know.
Oh dear.
Yeah, anyways, I got bored, so I've just been smashing stuff with the dreaded Skull Smasher of Helfenheim to pass the time until you guys showed up. So what they got you in for?
Why don't you keep your whatever that
Weapon?
weapon is?
Yeah, the dreaded Skull Smasher of Helfenheim? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they tried to take it away from me, but I got it back from them, and they haven't really seemed to be interested in getting it back from me. I mean, I'd like to see them try. It would be a pretty bloody mess, I just have to tell you.
Well, can
But
you
you-
use?
Well, I'm trying, but you see, the thing about the dreaded Skull Smasher of Helfenheim, it's really good at smashing skulls. It's kind of in the name. But as far as smashing, like, iron bars and stuff, those things are really tough. And it doesn't, wood, metal doesn't really mix. So, I don't know. But, maybe we can just stick around for a while. You never know what would happen. And as he says this, you hear from the other room, there's this thud, like something falling against the door and then slowly sliding down. And as that happens, Namor speaks up and he says, "Oh, hey, maybe it's that filet mignon I ordered earlier. It's about time someone started bringing that to us." And no sooner has he finished saying this than the door at the end of the hall opens up. And through it, you see step Alvissa Almara, the tiefling spellbreaker who helped you out in the battle in the marsh. And
Lady Alvissa!
she looks around and she smiles and notices you, Zephno, as you speak up. And she kind of smiles and she says, "I see that you have gotten yourself in a bit of trouble. Would anyone be interested in getting out of this today?"
Yes,
Me.
please. Although getting ourselves into a bit of trouble, that's debatable.
I'm getting rather used to it, actually. How is it that you're not in one of those cells? As I recall, you were just as keen to blow up those cannons as I was.
Yes, well, because I was a member of the Spellbreakers, we operate a little bit outside of the normal military structure. The Brigadier...
Neymar was a spellbreaker.
No, he
Mars
is
is
not
breaker, as it were.
yeah, he is a breaker of things, but not spells. Like I said, he kind of tags along with me, and he thinks that he owes me a life debt or something. I have not been able to convince him otherwise. But to your point, the Brigadier Changrel, when he found out that you were blamed for the battle, he attempted to speak up in your defense. But when the general pulled rank, he decided more subtle solutions were in order. So he sent me to try and see if I could provide those solutions. Unfortunately, I don't think that I have been able to find the key yet. It's not where I would expect it to be. And as she says this, Namor speaks up again. He says, "Oh, hey, you mean this key?" And a tiny key you
Was that
see
the
slide
key
out
all
across the floor.
along?
And yeah, you say that, and Alvisa, she just kind of shakes his head, and she's like, "Neymar, please tell me that you did not have this key for the sales, and you have just been sitting in there doing nothing." And Neymar just kind of chuckles and says, "Well, okay, I won't tell you that, but how else did you think I got the dreaded Skull Smasher of Helfheim back? You think they'd have given him to me? I mean, that's crazy." And I'm not crazy.
Does explain the thing at all.
Zephno just slaps his head and sighs.
Yeah, so you watch Alvisa go down the hall a little bit, and she goes over to Neymar's cell where he has slid this key out and picks it up and begins to unlock the cells. And she says, "Look, this is all very interesting, but we are on a bit of a time crunch here. And we really need to get out of here." So she goes by and she unlocks the cells, opens them up for everyone to be able
Where
to leave.
where are we going to go?
Well, that is the thing. I have a solution that may be in order, but it may be a little bit tricky. We may have to be very quick, and we may have to part ways at some point. Listen, uh, from my time here, I spent a few years here at the beginning of the war, and I remember that there is a drainage tunnel that runs through here near the barracks. The stream that flows through the tunnel, it is where the soldiers usually dump their refuse from the fort. It will not be a very pleasant journey for you, but I have a contract waiting at the end who is willing to smuggle you out of this area to safety. There is one problem, and that's that the tunnel is through the guards' barracks. We could try and force our way through, but I think it will be better if me and Neymar make a distraction for you. Then you'll have to proceed on your own, but I trust that you are resourceful enough to find your way.
I'm sorry, why exactly are you staging a jailbreak?
I was going to ask the same question.
Well, consider it a bit of an earlier release. The Brigadier is a little upset that his authority was overstepped, and he doesn't like it that some who have helped the children of Delrin are facing this unjust punishment. So he sent me to kind of provide this for you. He says that consider it a thank you for your service and an early release, even if Teltree isn't going to give it to you.
Alvisa,
Yes?
the the problem is I don't want to make enemies of the higher ups in Teltree. I'm here on a somewhat of a diplomatic, humanitarian mission. Um,
You didn't steal any plans, did you?
oh no, nothing like that. No, I just don't want there to be any blowback on my people.
I think that we can get you out without any fuss. That is why me and Neymar will kind of run the distraction for you. But the whole idea is to get you away because the general seems to be out for blood. I do not think that he will allow you to have a very easy sentence, if you know what I mean.
Well, I'm completely fine with this plan. Let's do it. I'm happy to be part of it.
I'm not in love with the cell, so as well. Won't be the first time.
Yep, anything's better than a cell.
So
Even some waste.
yeah, so as you're talking about that, Neymar kind of nods back to a door at the other end of the hall, and he says, the Skull Smasher of Helfenheim was back there. I bet that's probably where they stashed your stuff as well. You know, if I was a betting man, which I'm not. I don't take the odds. I always handle everything myself.
Exactly, I'm surprised. All right, let's see if we can get our things.
All right, so yeah, you head back into the room back here to take a look around. And as you get back in there, you do find that it is full of just general equipment. You find your things stashed away. It looks like a holding area, for those people who have been locked away in the brig. And as you're searching around, Benedict, you actually discover a box of your tools, your artificer tools, and the equipment that was removed from your room. Some of the gadgets that you have been working on. Apparently, when they took those things from a room, it was brought down here and stored in this kind of holding area to be used later.
Lovely.
Now, it doesn't look like any care was taken with the storage, but fortunately, it doesn't look like anything's broken really either.
All right. Do we find anything else of interest in this little chamber?
No, I don't know. Roll an investigation check and see what you can come up with.
I'm going to do that as well. I got a 19.
21.
Ah. Had to outdo me.
Alright, so as you're looking around, you do find a coin purse of 13 gold.
All right.
Not a bad find.
Hey, Benedict, what'd you find there?
Just a few coins. I'll toss in the purse.
You're the group treasurer now, huh?
Well, he did toss you the coin purse.
Oh, he tossed it to me?
Yeah, he tossed it to you.
I missed it. I grab it.
So,
how much was in it?
13 gold coins.
13 gold.
So, anyway, is there anyone else's equipment back here at all?
You find just some general tools. It doesn't look like there's anything, too useful. If you're looking for maybe a shield or maybe a common weapon, something like that, you'd probably be able to pick it up back here. But it doesn't look like there's anything majorly special.
Okay.
All right. So after you finish up with this area, you head on through and exit through kind of the main room here. And as you go through, you see the head jailer sprawled unconscious on the floor. And Alvissa, she smiles at her handiwork and holds up a hand for you to stop before proceeding on. And she turns to you and says, "You three wait here while Neymar and I try and lead the guards away. Once they are gone, exit through the barracks and follow the tunnels downstream until you make your way to the surface. There will be a gnome there waiting for you with a caravan. He goes by the name Acorn, and he will see to your safety. Do you understand?"
Clear as crystal.
Absolutely.
Alright, so then she turns to Neymar and she says, "Go make yourself useful and clear a path out of the fort. You have my permission to break as many things along the way as possible." And Neymar chuckles as he releases the Skull Smasher. And he says, "That's what I'm talking about." And he runs off down the hall. And you hear the sounds of his rampage echoing down from where you were at. And as he leaves, Alvissa turns to you. And she says, "I don't know if we will ever have the chance to meet again. But for what it's worth, it was a pleasure fighting by your side. and she runs off as well. And you hear her from a little ways down the hall. There's some shouting about a crazed halfling. And a few moments later, her and several other guards exit and begin to run down the hall as well, leaving you alone.
I suppose he does make a compelling distraction.
Yeah. Well, shall we leave the jail?
Yes, lead the way.
Right.
All right, so you head down the hall. There is this stairwell that you get to, but that is not the way that she has been talking about. That was the way that she ran off, her and Namor and the other guards. The most obvious place for you to be would be to go through the door here before you.
All right. Through the door we go.
All right. Who's going to lead the way? Going to be Zephno, Benedict?
I can open it. Let's go.
All right.
Before I do it, though, I'm going to listen. Can I listen to the door and see it? Like, listen for anything going on the other side?
You can. Roll a perception hearing check.
Perception. 15.
All right, so you don't hear too much from the other side of the door, but you do hear some very loud munching. Sounds like someone is eating a meal in the other room.
I think we've got maybe a friend on the other side of this door. Maybe doing a little eating.
What sort of friend?
Well, that was sarcasm for probably someone that's not going to want us coming through there and bothering him.
Oh.
Oh, we can slowly open this door and creep in. We can kick it down. What do you want to do, Mr. Armor?
Well, I suppose discretion is usually the better part of valor. Let's try to be quiet about it.
All right, I'm going to slowly creak open the door and try to peep inside.
All right, roll a stealth check for me.
Oh, stealth.
Stealthy stealth.
Stealth is what I'm good at. Except for today. Actually, a 12. All right. What's 12 get me?
Well, let's see. Not good enough. So as you open up the door, there's this loud creak, and you just kind of groan. And it opens up, and you see a single guard sitting at a table, just chewing away at whatever meal he's got there. And as he hears this loud creak, he doesn't really glance back at you, but he says, "Oh, shut the door. I can't deal with all these people running in and out of here. I'm trying to eat here. Just close the door for a little bit and go and handle whatever it is. Look, I don't care."
You got it. You got it. I motion for the other two to come in.
We'll follow him in.
And we'll close the door.
All right, so y'all all enter in there. And you enter in on what looks to be the guard's dining area. And he does seem to be the only guard that remained behind.
How's your lunch break going there?
Well, it just keeps getting interrupted. I have people... Look, a tiefling came running in talking about a crazy halfling. I had everybody rush out on me. Look, I just want to finish my meal in peace. And he kind of turns around and he spots you. And there's this moment where he narrows his eyes. You aren't supposed to be back here, are you?
Oh, don't mind us. Just finish your lunch. We're just passing through. Just passing through.
We're pursuing the halfling you were talking about. He's been giving the other guards a bit of a runaround.
Smashing
Praise halfling.
everywhere.
But the tiefling said he went down the hole, back out that way, and he points towards the door.
Yes, but then they lost him, so they're not sure exactly where he went, so we're checking the rest of the barracks.
And you know those halflings, they're little and they just scurry in anywhere they can get little rats.
That they are, but, what? Do you have any credentials? Listen, I need to see some type of ID before you go any further. I don't need you snooping around in the guards' barracks.
No, of course not. We'll show him the rank insignia we would have on our uniforms.
All right. So he looks at the rank insignia. He says, you privates, what they got you doing back here looking around for?
I told you, pursuing the halfling. It's not exactly officers' work. You don't expect to see the general down here, do you?
Look, I'm afraid I'm going to have to turn you all around. I ain't seen no halfling come through here. And, look, if I let you go any further, it could be trouble.
In fairness, you didn't see us come in either.
Well, I see you now. Are you saying that you're trying to sneak by me?
No, I'm saying that a halfling could have done it with his eyes closed. So how about you let us go do our jobs, and we won't tell anyone that you're not doing yours.
Look, I don't like this. Just let me clear it with some higher ups. We can wait here for some others to get back, and they'll probably be able to tell us what's going on. And then, if everything's above the board, we can let you continue on with your...
He's smashed half the camp by then.
Are you normally so derelict in your duties, or is this a special occasion?
Look, I'm afraid I just can't. I can't let you do it. Not gonna let you. And
well,
if you try, we'll just have to have some trouble then. How about that?
He got any weapons on him, or is he wearing a helmet?
I mean, he is wearing his armor, and he's got his weapon there at his side, a longsword.
I cast command.
You could.
I cast command. I tell him to flee after the halfling.
Only use one word.
Yep.
What's your word?
My command is flee.
All right. And what is the DC on that?
Wisdom 12.
All right.
It's just a verbal component, so I would try to whisper it under my breath.
All right. So as you whisper your spell, there's this power that washes out over you, and the guard, he gets this panicked expression on his face, and you just see him let out this scream of terror, and as he does, he flees out of the room, leaving you behind.
Well done.
Let's go.
Is there anything else in the room? Passing glance.
Nothing that you can see in a passing glance. There's some food on the tables. You see a deck of cards. Maybe a card game is going on as
right,
the guards left.
I'm gonna pick up his food and eat it as we go.
Okay. Yeah, you can pick up a plate of food there. Looks like he was munching on some links of sausage.
Ew.
Did you see that, man? What are you doing?
It's sausage. It's so good. He hasn't eaten this part.
Do you know how bad that is for your health, your heart?
What? Sausage?
The red meat.
Just go.
I grew up on sausage. Look how fit I am. The little flex.
The picture of health. Let's go.
On the way.
All right.
Roll.
So you exit out through the back of the barracks here, and you do get into a storeroom that looks like it has seen better days. There are several barrels and things that are lining the walls. Not the best smells. Again, it looks like this is the place that they are taking their trash and their refuse to dump out. So as you continue on back, you do exit through the back of the barracks here.
Before we step out, I want to do this. Yeah, I do. Benedict's gonna turn to those crates and just firebolt them.
Oh, that'll be lovely. Yeah, so you firebolt some crates, and they start burning pretty easily. And again, it's not giving the best sense. It's causing a lot of smoke, and it's causing just a general fire to start catching on there. So yeah, you seem to do a pretty good work with that.
All right, let's be going.
What was that for?
Just another distraction for them. That's not us.
He's very vengeful, is
You
Benedict.
really do like to burn things, don't you?
Well, when you're a one-trick pony, you might as well enjoy it.
It's a good trick. It really is.
All right, so you exit back at the back of the fort, and you do come out on a wide tunnel as Alvissa suggested. And there is a shallow stream that looks to be about knee deep that's flowing down through here. It's moving slowly but steadily away from the fort. There are several barrels of trash and fouler substances that are stacked along the small pier over here. And like I said, this does look like the place where they were dumping their trash and stuff to be emptied out into the swamp. Smell is not the greatest, but it does look like this is going to get you to where you need to go. And it looks like you'll be able to sneak out without being noticed. It is, however, pretty dark, and you're probably going to need some type of lights and torches for everybody except for Delphinium.
So Benedict will reach into his pouch and pull out a gold coin, and then take a few moments to tinker a small light source out of it.
All right, yeah, that'll work. So give off about as much light as a torch.
Yeah, it's just a little. It's pretty short. It's just a little 5-foot radius light, but magical tinkering.
All right, yeah, we'll allow it. So yeah, you
What-
take
what-
out your.
What you doing there? What you doing there, Benedict?
Oh, just making a little tiny lantern. Gives us enough to see, but hopefully not be seen.
That's cute.
Well,
All
everyone
right.
needs a hobby.
Any other actions before you proceed on? Or any other lights that people want to take?
I mean, is there any?
There are
there's
some
nothing.
torches around the fort that you'd probably be able to grab if you really wanted one, Zephno. Like I said,
I'll-
Delphinium's kind of got her light source taken care of with her elven eyes.
I'll grab a torch.
All right. So you follow the stream through the tunnel for some time. The water level stays pretty consistent, and while not necessarily the most pleasant journey, the further you get from the fort, the better off you feel about making your escape. However, the sounds of the cave and the light reflecting off the water doesn't really do much to set your nerves at ease. So how do you guys proceed as you're going down through this tunnel?
And I think in light of our exchange with the guard, I'll lead this time, Zephno. If you don't mind.
Yep. Go right ahead. Delphi, you want to take the middle? Then I'll caboose.
Sure. What is our plan now that we are AWOL?
Apparently, we're finding a gnome named Acorn.
Yes, but after we find the gnome named Acorn and we escape, we are still AWOL from the Teltrian military.
It's just
We're going to be fugitives.
well, unfortunately, they're rather busy at the moment, so I doubt they'll dedicate a ton of time to the hunt. But you're not wrong. We're going to find our way somewhere else. I'm not sure exactly why Elvis is sending us to this gnome, but perhaps there's some agenda to it.
Being a wanted man isn't that bad.
Not that kind of want stuff, no. It's not your adoring fans.
Delphi says under her breath, "My queen is not going to be pleased with this."
All right.
Hmm.
So as you say that, and as you've got your column set up and start journeying down the rest of this tunnel, at some point after you've traveled a little bit further, the tunnel starts to take a turn, and you notice that up ahead that several of the barrels from the fort have become caught in kind of this cove at the tunnel's bend. However, the most interesting thing is that there is a tall lizard man that you spot hunkered down over one of these barrels. And as he catches sight of the lights reflecting off the wall, he can tell that, the lighting has changed considerably as y'all approach. He straightens up with a spear in hand and he kind of points that out in your direction, and he holds a apparently defensive posture. He doesn't really make any move towards you at the moment, but he's not really saying anything either.
Old friend, we mean you no harm. We're just making our way away from the fort. What's you doing here?
I am Garnixka. I am scavenging. You are from human place?
From there, but not with them, so I have no problem with your scavenging.
Ah, yes. I will not attack you.
What a kind lizard man.
Do I believe him?
You can roll an insight check.
21.
Nice roll.
You notice that he seems pretty skittish. He doesn't really seem aggressive towards you, just more nervous and jittery. And as you're kind of looking him over, he adds to this. He says, "You are running through the caves. Are you lost?"
No, just haven't reached our destination yet. Where did you come from exactly?
"I come from the swamps."
How far are the swamps from here?
"Oh, not far, not far. Ganixka could guide you. Ganixka knows the way. You have food for Ganixka?"
Hold on just a moment.
I got some sausages. You like sausage?
"Sausages, yes. Ganixka loves sausages."
I don't know.
No, we all. Someone keeps telling me though that it's bad for your health, but you can't believe everything.
You know, for stuff, a little stuffy about these things.
Base diet is the healthiest diet there is.
Of course. Yes, I'll pull a ration out of my backpack as well. You're welcome to this if you would care to lead us on.
So as you hold that out to him, he runs over and snatches it real quick and starts munching on it. And he says, "Not meat, but good."
Yeah. The bar is rather low for Teltrian rations, so I'm glad
Hey,
you're
but
pleased.
you get us out of here, and you can have the rest of these sausages.
"Yes, the sausages meat, very good. Ganitska can guide you. He knows the way."
And you guys were all over me about grabbing these sausages.
We'll talk about it later. Lead the way, my friend.
All right, so he comes out. He seems pretty willing to help you guys out. And again, he doesn't really seem that aggressive towards you. But there's just something about him. It looks like he's not really comfortable being here. And as he walks, he talks to you, and he says, You know broodmate Coronis, yes?
No.
Should
It's
we?
not a familiar name.
Broodmate Coronis, he went to help humans in the swamp. I have not seen him for many days.
Well, there's been quite a bit of violence in the swamp. I hope he didn't come to an ill fortune.
Yes, that would be unfortunate. Broodmate Coronis, he is like me. He is descendant of long line of lizard kings.
Your royalty.
Yes, lizard men were once kings, rulers of this land. But then came evil. Then came darkness. Broodmate Coronis and I come from these ancient lines.
What sort of darkness?
Yes, what sort of evil?
Great evil. From other planes, fire, death, dark gods. Evil. They dwell even in this place now.
And yet you come here voluntarily looking for... What is it you were scavenging for, anyway?
Always eats. We need eats, food. Humans have good food. Sometimes it just takes a while to find.
Fair enough.
It's a shame that
You're not put off by this evil presence you described.
It has slept for long years. It is not comfortable to be here, but we do what we must.
Very well.
That is quite the story.
So he leads you on through the tunnels until the stream disappears over a yawning ravine. But before you reach this, however, you come to an opening into a larger part of the cave. And you see here strange glowing crystal formations. They can be seen here and there painting the surrounding cavern in colors of pulsing light. And Gon notices this as well. He says, "Swamp is not far, but hurry, we must be cautious. Evil place, great evil. Tread carefully."
What are these crystals?
I do not know. They make strange lights.
Benedict's gonna walk over to the nearest one
All right.
and take out a hammer and start whacking at it gently to see if he can chip a piece of it off and get a better look at it.
All right, so as you chip away at it, there's this brilliant flash of light, and it doesn't really do you any harm. It doesn't really blow you back or anything. You don't really feel any effects from it. But as the crystal comes off in your hand, you've got this little shard, and it's still glowing with kind of this inner light of shifting colors. And it's obvious that something happened. You just don't really know what.
Interesting.
Never seen anything like that before.
Cast Detect Magic.
All right. As you do, you don't really see anything innately magical about these things, but you can't really tell for sure. It's not really something that you're too familiar with.
Watch your eyes, and I close my eyes against it and take a much firmer smack at it to knock a larger hunk of it off.
All right, so again, as you hit this thing, there's this brilliant flash of light, and hopefully you guys covered your eyes when he told you to, because it does flash out and just lights the cavern around you with this brilliant light that slowly fades away. And it seems like this crystal does break apart pretty easily. and you have another larger shard that you can carry around with you. And it's still glowing. It's still got that inner light. So obviously, something is special about this glowing rock.
I'll put a few samples of it in my bag.
All right, and roll a perception check for me as well. Everybody can do that.
15.
I only got a 6.
um, 7.
All right,
I rolled 3.
so
There's some
Benedict,
perception help.
Benedict, you've kind of noticed as all this is going on, Ganixka's nervousness has increased. He's getting very shifty. He's looking like he's pretty uncomfortable. And as you kind of notice this, he says, "Come, we must not linger. Evil place. Evil."
Very well. Well, we'll be off along with you then. I just wanted to take a sample of these. Do you know what they are?
No, these are beyond the lizard folk. They are strange things. We do not know their ways.
Is that what makes you believe them to be evil?
I don't think he said the crystals were evil necessarily.
Well, he says this is an evil place, but hasn't said why.
Yeah, so as you continue on through the cave with him, you notice off in the distance the strange structure made of crumbling black stone. The building itself looks like it has been here for quite a while, and it now stands as a cold and lifeless husk, obviously not used in some time. But it's seemingly out of place here. It's in this dark and gloom-filled hole. It's definitely something that stands out as pretty unique.
What is that?
That is the evil place.
Do we recognize the construction at all? Does it look to be of human make or something else?
Not that you can tell. It looks like a structure definitely made by somebody's hands, but the design you've never really seen before. It doesn't look like anything that was elven made. You could roll a history check, maybe, and see if you could find out something.
All right. 15.
Nope, you can't really tell anything. Not from at least where you are at the moment.
Next guy, which direction is the exit?
Ganixka looks around for a minute, and then he points off over here to his left, and he says, "This way. The exit, the light, the swamp. It is this way."
Very well. Wait here, but give me just a moment. I want to understand a little bit more about what this is.
All right.
And I'll step away from him and approach this building a little bit.
Does this look anything like any sort of religious center?
You could try and roll on a religion check and see what you can find out. Are you going to go up there with Benedict, I assume?
Yeah.
And what about you, Zephno?
What is Gar doing?
Gon is still over there. He's looking at this place very suspiciously. He doesn't like that you have gone over there to check it out.
I'm gonna kind of get in between him and Delphi, like kind of just in between both groups.
All right, so we'll let you go up a little bit here. Stand by one of these crystals.
Yeah.
That's a 22, Daniel.
All right, so as you get a little bit closer and you start looking around at it, it does seem like it had some type of religious purpose. You don't know exactly which god that it was to. You aren't familiar with that, but it does seem like it is some type of temple or some type of shrine, something where some type of religious practice of some type went on.
Is there any language on it?
Not that you can see from where you're at. The building, it stands, pretty cold and empty. There's this black stone that's not like anything you've really seen before. It's rough like stone. It's got that texture, but it's also reflective like glass. There are
Like
four.
obsidian?
What's that?
Like obsidian?
Kind of, but it's still got that texture of a rougher stone, like a granite. So it's kind of an anomaly. Like I said, you never really seen anything that you can really compare this to. And there are four braziers there at the front on this kind of raised dais. They look like they haven't been lit in some time, but they flank a large stone door that is propped ominously open just a little bit.
Interesting.
And Zephno, as this has kind of been going on, Gon has crept a little bit closer. He's kind of following you. He's sticking close to you and cowering kind of behind you.
So, Gar, you ever been in here?
No, this place is wrong. This place, it is very evil.
What makes you say that?
It has been here for longer than Ganixka. There are stories of dark things, evil things, creatures of night.
What sorts of stories? Who tells them?
Ancient stories passed down through our tribes. We avoid going near this place.
What do you make of it, Delphinium?
It appears to be some sort of religious building. There was some god or goddess worshipped here, I believe, but which one I couldn't say.
Go up and
How are we to the exit?
Not far. Perhaps an hour by your time.
go up and inspect the braziers a little closer.
Alright, so you get a little bit closer. And these braziers are kind of made out of that same stone, reflective stone mix. And again, they look like they haven't been lit in quite some time. There's nothing that you can tell that would burn inside them anymore. They don't really have any ashes or any evidence of fire that has been recent. They look cold and dark, much like this structure does.
Well, I did it before. I'll do it again. I'll pull the hammer out and see if I can knock some of this glass off.
Alright, so as you rear back and you take your hammer to this strange crystallized rock, this time when you hit it, there is a low rumbling from the cavern around you, and nothing breaks off when you hit it with your hammer.
Curious.
Hmm.
And are we standing in front of like a door, or what are we?
Yeah,
what are
there's
we...
a door. It is propped open just a little bit, not really enough to where you can see, but it looks like it could be opened if you would like to.
Can I try to gently push it open? I don't want to go in. I just want to see if I can.
It's pretty heavy, so there's not much gently about it. You'll have to commit yourself one way or the other.
I'll go and give it a very delphinium shove. It probably won't go very far with my strength of.
All right,
Negative
Benedict,
one.
are you going to help her any? Because this is a pretty large door.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm just gonna watch my little elven arms flail.
I mean, it's not going to be a whole lot better with me. So,
All right, so you are able to push forward and open this door enough so that you can see inside. And inside you see an ancient structure that looks in an obvious state of disrepair. There's several black columns made out of that same strange stone that have toppled over and fallen on the rubble-strewn floor. Those that remain seem like they're barely able to support the structure's roof. You can see some markings on the wall which look like writing, but it has crumbled in places, and it's not really legible, at least from what you can see. And as this is kind of... Zevno, are you getting any closer?
Yeah, I'm gonna walk up to the kind of to the bottom of the stairs there, so I can kind of see what's going on.
All right, and Gon has followed you as well. And you hear him behind your back, and he says, "I do not like this."
I'm inclined to agree with you. The structure doesn't look particularly solid one way or the other.
Yeah.
Evil auras or not.
Yeah, and as you look around and kind of examine, probably the most noticeable thing that catches your eye is that at the far end, there is a large statue that dominates the center back of the room, and it's of this cloaked figure carrying a large scythe and with these bat-like wings spread out to either side, and it gives you a very eerie feeling. And again, you notice Gon kind of standing back. He's not very comfortable here at all.
Would I recognize anything about this figure, this emblem?
Yeah,
give me another religion check.
Can I guide myself?
Yeah, all out.
I will join her in this.
14, 18.
Don't you worry, Gar. My two friends here are very powerful spell crafters. Nothing to fear here.
This is beyond them. This evil is ancient. This place is wrong.
17.
23.
All right, Delphinium, you're a little bit more knowledgeable about religion, I guess you'd say, at least in this instance. And you remember some elven stories about Illith, the Lord of Nightmares. And while there's not really any physical descriptions of this ancient being, you know that he was a pretty bad dude. This was the guy who caused the calamity of the gods several thousand years ago, tied deeply into a lot of the creation myths of Chalnora, and he's just been a very evil presence, known as the King of Demons, the Lord of Nightmares. This you recognize this as kind of his kind of MO. This would be something that he would be associated with.
So, what you guys think? Any good stuff we can scavenge and take back with us?
There are some more of those crystal formations inside.
I'm inclined to agree with Ganitska. This appears to be a temple to Illith.
Demon.
The King of Nightmares. I'm not familiar with him having a following of worshippers, but it appears at some point in time he must have, but that figure there is decidedly his image.
Curious.
Why would anyone want to worship someone that's called Nightmare? Or referred to as the King or Lord of Nightmares?
People do a lot of questionable things. Like muck about in the cavern underneath the swamp.
Throw people in the brig for dubious reasons.
Fair enough. Alright. Well, it's probably best to leave it lie for now, but I am rather curious, I have to admit.
It is curious what this stone is, where they would have mined it from.
I don't know that it's mined. I've never seen anything quite like it.
Do you think it's created?
Possibly. Alright, Kinitska, I think we've tested your patience well enough. Why don't you lead us out?
Yes, this is wise. You'll see now that this is an evil place. Do not
You,
touch anything. This is a bad place.
Gnitska, do your people have any stories passed down about people who might have worshipped in this temple or this place?
No, only the Lord of Nightmare's servants, his demon spawn. They would be the ones.
Wonder what happened to them. They don't seem to be around anymore.
Eh,
I wouldn't be so sure.
They are always here. They are always active.
Hmm.
how are your
Well,
people
we'll
able
take
to
your word
stay
for it.
safe from them?
We do not go near this place. We avoid it. We try to do everything we can to not anger the servants of Ilith.
Fair enough. Well, in that case, why don't you lead us out?
Yes. Come. The exit is not far. The swamp. It is close. It is close. So as you depart from this gloomy place and leave it behind, Ganixka continues on down through the tunnels, and he leads you probably for what would have been another hour or so before you get the first glimpse of light. And he again says, "Not far, come." And he leads you on towards this light, which slowly grows larger and resolves into an exit from the cavern up ahead.
Where
Hey,
we're traveling underground, would this be like under the battlefield that we just fought on? Or away from?
it would be essentially a way. There's a lot of larger rocky rises that lead out of the swamp, which the fort was kind of built into. So you are underground, essentially, but this wouldn't be underneath the swamp itself.
Okay.
All right, so as you continue on towards this light, it gets larger, eventually looks more like the exit that you would expect it to be. And here, Ganexka pulls up short, and he says, "This is as far as I go. Swamp is ahead. You, you are friends of Ganexka. I remember sausages."
Oh yeah, here you go, friend. I hand him what I've got left.
So as you hand over your plate, he scarfs it down in traditional lizard folk fashion, which is not the best sight, for your own stomachs. But he consumes it very quickly. And as he does, he looks back to you and he says, "If you meet broodmate Coronis, tell him Ganitska still lives."
We'll be sure to pass that along.
Absolutely. Thanks
All
for
right.
the help.
Yes, you are good friends of Ganitska, but word of advice: avoid evil places.
I
We so
definitely
shall
always try to live
try.
by that rule.
So he gives you a farewell and lets you progress on yourselves.
All right.
All right. So as you continue towards the cavern's exit, you eventually emerge back onto the swamp. And as you look around and your eyes kind of adjust to the daylight again, you do notice that there is apparently a covered wagon sitting on a path up ahead, and there's a small gnome that's sitting in the driver's seat. and he seems to be busily working, taking some kind of measurements on some type of instrument that he has there with him that kind of glints in the sunlight. And he doesn't really seem to notice you as you first appear.
Hail, friend.
Are you Acorn?
So, as you kind of announce your presence to him, he glances up, and there's this confused expression that passes over his face. And you see that he was making some measurements on a golden scale, which is why it was glinting in the sunlight. And he looks at you for a moment, trying to decide who you are, and then the smile comes over his face, and he says, "Ah, you are the soldiers in need of transport, yes?"
That'd be us.
Oh, well, it certainly took you long enough, and the smell. Yes, that is lovely. But the Tiefling did pay for the full cost of shipping to Tresillian at the standard transport rate. So, hello, I am Acorn, leader of the legendary Union for Commerce and Retail Entrepreneurs, or LUCA for short. Though I suppose that when you join us, I'll have to change the name to Filthy Luca. Yes, we need to get you a bath. Anyways, I will be carrying you from the marsh of Salorishi to the port of Tresillian, extra paid for safe delivery upon arrival, and avoidance of standard Teltrian patrol routes. Now, come along, I have a schedule to keep, and I'm a very busy man.
Most officious smuggler I've ever met.
I've never met a smuggler.
Man.
Well, I'm not a smuggler. I'm a merchant. I've been paid very well for my services. Thank you very much.
Until
you just
yesterday,
say
you
that
hadn't
you
been locked up in a jail either.
Didn't you
So,
just say that you were paid to avoid Teltrian military?
Yes, but that is part of the job. And roll a history check for me.
All of us?
Yeah, all of you can roll this one.
12.
Let's see. 10.
17.
All right,
Nice.
so Delphinium, even though you are a member of the Elven Nations, you have heard about this trade organization that he claims to be the leader of. Lucre is a very well-established trade guild that operates primarily off the continents of Lefren, where you are, and the continents of Adel, where is the Elven Kingdom. And it has a fairly good reputation. Its merchants are known as being pretty honorable people. And, yeah, this guy seems to be pretty above the board, you would imagine, if he's claiming to be a member of that group.
Well, Alvisa seems to believe we can trust him, and his group is known to be reputable among my people, so...
Oh, I didn't mean to imply he wasn't trustworthy, just that I hadn't met such a formal smuggler before.
Again, not a smuggler, a merchant. Very clear distinction.
Yes, tomato, tomato. Shall we?
So, does our travel plans include meals as well, or do we have to provide those on our own?
Yes, we will be providing amenities. There will be scheduled stops for bathroom breaks, and of course, like I said, we will need to get you a shower at some point, but I assure you that our itinerary is perfectly scheduled, and you will not have any interruptions in your normal schedule. I will take care of everything.
Sounds like Alvisa went all out for us.
Yes, well, she did hire the best, and as a leader of the Guild Luca, I am the best.
Excellent.
All right, so as you kind of all load up, I think that will be where we stop for the evening. All right, so we thank you for joining us for another session of A Little Light Adventuring. Again, if you can, give us a comment, give us a like, hit that subscribe button. We will be looking forward to hearing from you. But until next time, we are signing off.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.